So maybe I should say hello and welcome again. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Scott Gallagher from Raritan Learning Cooperative in Flemington, New Jersey. Um, Raritan Learning Cooperative is an alternative to school, and we work with kids ages 12 to 18. And the idea is that kids come to us and they can do classes, tutoring, go on trips, have mentoring, all within a flexible environment using homeschooling. And we work with kids in middle school and high school. And as kids get older, obviously some of the conversations that we have to do with what their plans are for the future. And obviously college is one pathway that our young people take. And but we also encourage kids while they are with us in our program the opportunity to take classes at community college while they're still in their um, high school years. And so this sort of allows them to get a sense of what an academic classroom really looks like, and it also gives them the opportunity to take advantage of support from their mentors and the other staff here at our center. So but it's not limited to homeschool kids who are in public school and traditional or in conventional schooling environments can do community college classes. And so we're joined tonight by, well, first I'd just say there's two other staff members here from Raritan Learning Cooperative, Mary Beth Healy and Allison Snikes. And we are joined by two representatives from Raritan Valley Community College, Peaches Barcalan and Anna Ponton. And I guess at this point, maybe I'll just pass it off to you, Mary Beth. You'll sort of give a little rundown of how the evening will run, and then we'll get right to it.
Awesome. So we will hear first from Peaches and Anna. Peaches is the Assistant Director of Recruitment and Communications at RVCC, and Anna is an academic advisor, and I think really specifically working with high school age kids who want to do the RVCC classes. They will do a little presentation, and then we'll have an open Q&A chat. And the Q&A, the questions can be asked in one of two ways. If it's appropriate to ask, I think Anna and Peaches said they were okay with, answering questions on the fly during their presentation. You could raise a hand in the raise hand chat, the Zoom raise hand, or just raise your hand, or you can also use the chat to feed questions. If it's not a question that you need answered in real time, then just put it in there and we'll get to it in the Q&A. So that kind of covers the logistics of the Q&A. The other thing I will say is that I believe that everyone registered and got the link through Eventbrite, but if there's anyone who somehow is joining us on the call and didn't register through Eventbrite and wants a recording, then just you can send your email address privately through the chat to me, and we'll make sure you get a copy of the recording. And also, we sometimes send out, like, if there are particular resources, contact information, that kind of stuff, we can, email that as well. So I'm just now going to hand it over to Peaches and Anna to share their information on RVCC and programs.
Thanks, Maribeth. Appreciate your invitation for Anna and I. We really appreciate you guys tagging along RVCC in your sessions. I enjoyed my time 2 years ago in this event, so love to be back. Anna will start the presentation first to go over early college information, and then I'll go next with our admissions information.
Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. One moment. All right. I can't see the bottom. Okay, I apologize. I can't make it.
And then maybe if you look into the slideshow on the top,
Oh,
right
right
under the
there.
search
See
bar.
it right here. Right here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, so the first thing I would like to go over is eligibility. So one moment. So for students in grades 10 to 12 with a 3.0 GPA are eligible to take part of the early credits program. And classes are not only offered on campus, but also we have online courses. And majority of our online courses are asynchronous. We do have some remote sync here and there, but majority of our online courses are asynchronous. For early credit students, we do strongly recommend students to have a 2.75 and over, only because they're creating their college GPA. They're having a college record that follows them, so it's really important to have a 2.74 and higher. For placement and prerequisites, we take SAT, ACT, or AP scores for math and English. If students didn't take the SAT or ACT or have AP scores, it's fine. The student can take the AccuPlacer here on campus. What I recommend if they plan to take math and English placement is to take the AccuPlacer for both separate days. Only because I hear from comments from students' feedbacks that they wish that they can take it on separate days because it can be a lot. Another thing I wanted to point out is that sometimes I have students that may not be too happy with their SAT or ACT placement, and they want to challenge it, and they can by taking the AccuPlacer. And the AccuPlace with the testing center, what they do is they offer students study guides to prep them to see if they can place a little higher. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that unfortunately we do not early credit students are not eligible to take developmental courses. For the process. So let's say the student is eligible and is interested in the program. The first step would be to apply to RVCC as an early college credit applicant. And once the student applies, within a day or two, they would receive their G number along with an Adobe link. So the Adobe link is the early college registration form. So in this form, the student would include their high school transcript, SAT, ACT scores, put in the class or classes that they would like to register for, and then also include their parent or legal guardian's email. So once they sign it off, it goes to the parent or legal guardian. They sign it off, and then it goes to admissions. Admissions will review the documents, approve it, and then once it's approved, the early credits team will reach out to the student to schedule an initial meeting. So in the initial meeting, it is required to meet for us to meet with students and parents. Majority of our initial meetings are virtual. We do in person, but we notice that majority are virtual, so it's fine. We try to accommodate the student and parent. During this meeting, we register students, go over the program deadlines, also teach the student on how to navigate through line stand, go over payment, class schedules, any questions that the student may have or parent may have. We make sure that everything, that they're not confused, they understand, make sure that they're just ready for their class. Another thing I wanted to point out was that if you would like to still have questions after this, we do have an email. It's Raritan.edu. So we would be happy to assist you if you still would like to meet with us to continue to talk about the process or may not be too sure of what classes you would like to register. We'll be there to assist. So for each semester, we do have deadlines. For instance, for summer, our deadline was April 30th. We did extend it for summer 2, which is June 1st. The reason why we have deadlines, we want to make sure that we have the initial meeting, meet with students, making sure that their questions are answered, and also making sure that students are able to register in for the classes that they would like to enroll in. Because the closer it is to classes starting, unfortunately, there's less availability. So for students interested in the fall semester, August 1st would be the deadline. So the student must apply and submit their registration form by August 1st. We also do have credit limitations. So per semester, the credit limit would be 9 credits. In the summer, students are eligible to take 6-week courses. However, in the fall and spring, students are only eligible to take 12 to 14-week courses. The reason why is because in the summer, they're out of school, so they can really focus on their college courses. And then in the fall and summer, because they're back taking their high school courses, really having that balance and not taking an accelerated course, which we consider any class that's a 10-week course, a 7-week course is an accelerated course. So we just don't want the students to feel overwhelmed. So for payment, with the payment, within county, per credit, it's $186 per credit, and it's not including the fees. And out of county, it would be $266 per credit. Majority of our classes are 3 credits. We do have some courses that may be 4 credits, like our lab sciences, but majority are 3 credit courses. Unfortunately, early credit students do not receive a discounted rate or a tuition waiver. Another reason why we have deadlines is because we want to avoid students paying any late fees. And then students, we definitely talk about the payment refund schedule with students to make sure that they're not dropped from their classes, because if sometimes it does happen if the payment is not done, and we can't guarantee that we can re-register a student. So that's why we want to have ample time to meet with students and parents and making sure that the classes are paid. And that's why it's so important to have the initial meetings with our students. Another point is also early credit students are not eligible for financial aid. Here is our early credits link. There you can see our website. Along with our website, we have a lot of Q&Rs, any additional questions that you may have, our website may cover. And I'm ready for questions.
Thanks, Anna, for that overview. Appreciate that.
No
I know
problem.
some students and parents might have questions for admissions. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the website so that we can go over the steps. I know there's might be some questions about transcripts, difference between high school students and homeschool students. So let's go over that real quick, and then feel free to jot down your question in the chat, and Anna and I can answer those questions for you if you guys don't mind. All right. So I'll go ahead and try to share my screen. I haven't done this in a while, guys. My apologies. So here we go. I hope you guys are seeing my screen now. I'm on the raritanval.edu page. This is our main website. And like Anna said, they do have their own early college or early credits page. So you can hover your mouse under the academic programs tab on the top and scroll down. You'll see early college programs. We do offer concurrent enrollment for those of you who are in high school, If not, obviously, as Anna mentioned, we have early college credits, and this is where you can see their FAQs and more information about Anna was talking about. For admissions purposes, I do have to go over some steps with you guys. Quick review with what Anna mentioned already and a few more details. If you hover your mouse on top of the admissions information tab, you'll see apply to RVCC page right here, or you can also just scroll down. You'll see apply to RVCC button here, and you'll be dropped in the same page. Okay. Once you click that, and hopefully my internet goes quicker than this, it will give you two options, basically, to click here to apply and then view all student types. What I would suggest for students and parents to do is first click view all student types, so you can really see the step-by-step instruction for early college students. All right, and then my apologies if my internet is a little slow. I will drop the link in the chat for you guys. Hopefully you can go along with me. And this should drop you in the same site. I'm going to try to refresh my screen here. Let's see. Let's try that again. All right. Sorry, guys. It's just a little laggy on my side. All right. Now, like I mentioned, once you click apply to RVCC, it will give you these two options. Start now, it's free, or click view all student types and application process. I would go ahead and click that. Scroll down, you'll see different student types that we service, and you'll click the early college student. Okay, just be mindful, we do have two different early college options. We have the Jumpstart, which is Anna was talking about, early college, early credits, Jumpstart. They're all the same. We just have different names for it. Our apologies for that. And then there's the concurrent enrollment, which is done with the high school. Okay, so what you're going to look at is the early college process right here. Okay. And the first step, like Anna mentioned, is to fill out an application. Okay, this will only take you about 10 to 15 minutes. And the student will see the percentage of how much they finish in the application on the right-hand side of the page. Okay. I would highly suggest for students to use their own personal email address that they would constantly check instead of the parent's email address. It just makes it so much easier for you and for us to process. Okay. Once you submit the application, it will show you the verification, and you will receive an automated email from us the day after. It's always set for the morning after you submitted your application. If you didn't receive it, you can try to look in your junk or spam folder. The subject line will be RVCC, I've applied, what's next? Okay. If you don't receive that email, please let us know right away. There must have been some glitch in the email address. It could have been a multiple account, and we can check that for you. Okay, but you should be getting an automated email from us with your next steps. Okay. Typically, our application gets processed within 3 business days, even faster if it's not peak registration. So again, if you don't hear from us within 3 business days, just let us know and we can take a look at your account. Okay. Here are your next steps. Obviously, we want you to take a look at your course schedule to see if we are offering the courses that you would want to take for that semester. And this is the registration form that Anna was talking about. This is an Adobe form, and you can take a look at this on your own time, and it will ask you for the signatures. Okay. This is the admissions document that we need. We do ask for high school transcript if it's available. I understand most, if not all of you, are homeschooled, so we do accept narrative transcript for those of you who are currently not in the public high school. Okay. And then we will ask you, like Anna said, the English and math placement test for to prove your English and math proficiency. Okay. And it's pretty much self-explanatory here. We do ask for immunization record, especially if you're going to be on campus. But really anybody under 30 will need to submit an immunization record. You can look at this page. If you have any exemption, you will just have to provide us with some documentation and we can process that for you. And then the last bit here is the tuition and fees, which Anna did mention that in-county and out-of-county fees are different. And we normally have 3 credit per class, sometimes 4 if there's a lot. All right. So with that said, we can take more questions from the chat, Maribeth, if you have anything that you want us to clarify with.
Yeah, there are a few questions in the chat. The two I see, you answered Allison's question, I'll just say really quick, by clarifying that early college and Jumpstart are the same thing. And so then the 2 other questions are from, is it Neha? And feel free to voice your question, otherwise I'll just read it. So it says, we'll look to see if middle schoolers are eligible. Parentheses, profoundly gifted and took SATs and got a great score, and almost 100% in standardized testing, currently going through college courses with Arizona Online University. Given in New Jersey, haven't found options for his age, and looking to see if there are exceptions ever made for such students.
I don't know if Anna wants to take this question because this has a lot to do with academic advising. But if you look at our website, we do ask that the student has to be in their 9th to 12th grade. And Anna, feel free to jump in if you have any exemptions for under that grade.
Yeah, that's exactly my question, is like, would you make exception to such students who are eligible from an academic standpoint, but not necessarily that grade? He's currently doing online schooling with the school called Davidson Gifted School, and they place students as per ability. So he is working with high schoolers right now, but obviously age-wise, obviously he's too young age-wise, right? And I know other states have started making that exception. There are non-discriminatory laws about it, but we haven't found New Jersey options. So if you could, I don't need the answer right now. If you could please take it back to whoever is the best place to answer this, then we would love to explore this option for my son.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. And Peaches, I'm looking at who is on the call, and we may have lost Anna.
Yeah, I just got a message from Anna actually that she just got disconnected. Neha, if you don't mind waiting until she gets back. It has something to do with academic advising, and part of our requirement to be in the 9th to 12th grade is age, safety reasons, just making sure that everybody's aware that the classes are going to be adult focused with our courses. So yeah, if you can just hang on a little bit, Neha, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and Neha,
of course.
Yeah, and Neha's
Yes.
other question was just about whether Japanese language courses are offered. That's an easy
Yes.
one, maybe, right? So
At the moment, I don't think it is currently offered in the summer. I can take a look at the fall, and I think Anna is back online, so maybe she can also let us know. But we normally have the Spanish and French tracks, so maybe.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lower priority question about the language, which language, and I can rephrase it for Anna if you like.
sure.
There are lots of students and lots of states in United States have, gone ahead and started admitting middle school students. We almost moved to California this year, but for job and, life, other kids constrained, we couldn't. So I'm really voicing on behalf of such kids who are, on a accelerated path, let's say, but just because they are younger, they don't get these opportunities in colleges, right? And my son, in this case, he has his great SAT scores he took this year. He was featured in a news article just earlier. And all we're asking, if there could be an exception for middle schoolers take the college courses, his GPA scores are great. We can provide, all that information as part of his application. But I know some of our students like this. So once, Raritan opens this option, if you choose to, I believe you would pioneer this in state of New Jersey, because I have talked to a lot of other schools, and we haven't found a full-time college program for middle schoolers. But somebody needs to take that first step, right? In every state. And California is very common, and I know I'm sort of preaching to be quiet.
Yeah, and Anna,
But-
I'm glad we have you back. Do you want to address that?
Yes, so with that, right now, I know that it's in the works to talk about a program with students that may not be a certain age, maybe in middle school. We do currently have an 8th grader who was admitted. So right now, we're taking it case by case until
Okay.
something is actually, because right now it's in the works. I know with my director, we were talking about that. So right now, like if it's your interest, you can contact us and we can connect. And then from there, we can to see.
That would be great. Yes.
Yeah.
Would you mind putting your email in the chat so I can grab it?
Sure. One moment.
Yep. And we really do not want to move away from New Jersey just because this one. So.
Okay, and I'm not sure whether I'll go ahead and read this next question, because I'm not sure whether it'll be Peaches or Anna that will address this, but Green is referring to, I guess it's an experience in California where there's challenges getting early college students enrolled because they get like last priority in registering for classes. And I guess specifically referencing, how students have class access if they have a disability. And does that give them more priority access?
From the admission standpoint, Corrine, I believe, was the person who sent the question. From the admissions standpoint, we do process the application first come, first serve. So it comes in daily for us and it gets processed within 15 minutes. We do give out that 3-day window only to really verify the student's identification. And once it passes through admissions, it goes to Anna, early credits team, to verify and meet with the student. So Anna, do you have any timeline that you normally have for early credits students?
And I'm sorry if you can repeat it, only because I was typing in my information, so I apologize for that. Is it just the process that I go through, how long it takes?
No, I think Corrine was mentioning situations in California where early credit students generally get the last registration appointments. So is that something that that happens in RVCC? For us, you know, as you know, we process first come, first serve. So whenever we get the application, we get that process and hand it off to you guys. So
Yeah, so that's the reason why we have deadlines for students, because we've encountered situations in which students weren't able to register for classes that fit their schedule. So usually like a timeline for students once they apply, sometimes we try to be on top of it. It all depends if they have their placements in set. So if the student already has their English placement, math placement, and it depends on the class that they want to register for, then we register them in, schedule an initial meeting within the week. It all depends on also the availability of the student and parent to meet. And then that's why we have virtual meetings as well with students. It's very popular, virtual meetings with students and parents. So sometimes within a day or two, or it can take a little longer depending on the class that the student would like to take and if they wanted to challenge their placement. So it's a case by case.
Can I just clarify, like, because I think what's happening here is what happens in California, my understanding is that early college students can't register for a class, even their second semester or their fifth semester or whatever. They're positioned after, so priority is given to degree seeking students, and I don't think that's happening at RVCC. So I don't
No,
think there's
doesn't
any
sound like it, no.
priority for degree seeking students. Yeah, so I think that's what they're asking. And especially, you know, for disabilities, could they get a waiver? I don't think there's anything like that. From what I've seen is when kids register, they register and they don't have to wait till everyone else has registered and then they come later. So just want to,
okay.
you guys are saying, yeah. All right, good. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the second, oh, I don't know who's going to talk there. I was just going to point out the second half of Corinne's question had to do with any priority that is offered to students with disabilities.
Okay.
But I don't think it's needed because there's no one in need, you know what I mean? Like there's no priority given to anybody else.
We can register the students in, however, I do connect them with a CAIE advisor to walk them through the process to receive their accommodations.
Yeah.
So that's a different process. However, it doesn't stop the student from getting registered for a class unless the student, I've had a student that needed to take the Acuplacer, however, and wanted to meet first with a CAIE advisor in order to see if they would get accommodations for testing. However, with testing, they don't really have a limited time, so they wouldn't need an accommodation for that. But we do register the students in and we walk them through the process and have them. Luckily with us, the advisors are in the same department, so I can link them with the appropriate advisor to go through the accommodations.
Okay, great. Thanks.
And can I also just ask
go
a
ahead.
question for clarification? It is true that not every class requires an Acuplacer testing, right? Like there are many classes that students can take without taking any placement test at all. Like they could take an art class, like that kind of thing is available to them, right?
Correct. Yes, but a lot of the classes that our students are interested, majority are needing placement.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that ties in a bit with the next question from Joy. Can students take any classes they wish, or is a specific curriculum required? And I'm pretty sure the answer to that is there's no specific curriculum. Early college students can come in and choose one class or a couple of classes that they're interested in, as long as they satisfy whatever the requirements are that you went over in your presentation, Anna, then they can be registered for those classes. Classes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes students that are interested in maybe a program in nursing, or I currently have a student that's going through the curriculum of a certain program at a different school that she's interested in taking. So they start taking classes that are pertaining to a specific program that they're interested in. Or other students are coming into, once they graduate from high school, they're going into, they're gonna start at Raritan, so they wanted to head start in taking some of the classes, the requirements for a particular program.
Great. Next is a comment from Corinne, I think is just providing reference to a resource. And where did my spot there in the chat? And a couple of resources which you guys can read through in the chat. But getting to the next question from Christina, it looks like with the registration deadline of June 1st for the summer, I believe that's what you said, right, Anna? So is there okay, I'm just going to read this. So it looks like we will miss the deadline to register for summer session. Earliest in-person visit I could schedule would be June 9th. Is that cutting it too close for the fall semester?
And
so
this is for the fall, for June 9th. That for our fall deadline is August 1st. So the sooner the better. Registration for fall has opened since the first week of April. So I would recommend students that are interested in the fall to start applying now, so we can meet with them, because as soon as our high school seniors graduate, we do have our fire sessions with first year students, and a lot of seats, like we start seeing availability start going less and less. So the sooner the better.
And is that
Okay, thank
accurate?
you.
What Christina is saying, that there's no way for the summer session to work because they can't, because the deadline is June 1st and they can't get an appointment with you until June 9th?
No, we can meet. We can work, like, as soon as just apply for to RVCC, and then complete the registration form, and then right there we can see. It's not only myself, it's also another colleague. His name is Joshua Panino. He helps me a lot with meeting with students and parents, so we can work on it. The only thing that what we can't guarantee is to get into a certain class because it's getting close, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah, or it may be I'm interpreting Christina's question wrong, and it's Christina who's not available until June 9th. I don't know. So, but it sounds like
you can come
Christina.
anytime.
Oh, okay, there you go. There you go. All right, maybe online you were looking, and that looked like the earliest appointment you could schedule.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
for
Well, it
me?
sounds like that's no, I think Christina was looking online and seeing no appointments until June 9th, but it sounds like that might be workable.
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I
thank you.
a lot of time for early credits, so it may not show online for me. It may seem like I'm not available a lot. Is because I block a lot of time for my early credit students.
Okay, great. Hope that works out.
If you don't mind, I just want to clarify with everyone, because I've heard some students get confused as well. We have enrollment coaches that can help you with the general admissions process, and then there's academic advising. So I just want to make sure students and parents understand there are two different staff or teams that work with different things, with registration and also just getting the application in. So I will put the link for both enrollment coaches for general admissions, and then academic advising.
Okay, thank you. I see a question here from Grace. Are high school counselor required for scheduling courses in the fall? For early college is an HS, I'm assuming is high school, not homeschool counselor, right? So Do one of you want to respond to that? Seems like the answer would be no, because we're talking about homeschoolers, which wouldn't have a high school counselor, right?
Yeah, no, high school or homeschool they're not required to. There are sometimes students that already know what classes that they would like to take, and there's other students that may need assistance. And we will work with the student, maybe making suggestions, also looking at the schedule, because some students have a specific schedule that they will need to make, and we can work with students on that.
Okay, hopefully, Grace, that addresses your concern or question. And we have another question from Corinne. Do you allow class auditing if the student is not interested in or ready for the college credits, or doesn't meet the requirements, but wants to access the material?
Not for early credits.
Okay.
Early credits not eligible for auditing.
Okay. And then she goes in, within the unschool model, could the student then meet with a facilitator at the learning center? So it sounds like if the answer to auditing is no, then the other question, the more details wouldn't apply. So Corinne, hopefully that answers your question. Allison asks thoughts on what parents should consider in supporting a young person to take their first early college class.
Good question. What classes to consider? Well, I can say our most popular ones would be English composition.
Well, I'm sorry, I might not have been clear. Sorry to interrupt you, Anna. I just want to make sure that I'm clear what the question was. So thoughts on what parents should consider in supporting a young person to take their first early college class. Like some of the things, like you guys have as requirements in place to make sure it's a good experience, but any thoughts from you that you advise parents on what to consider?
What I would advise if they're questioning on that, to meet with us, to have an info session. I usually do have some info sessions with parents and students that may not be too sure if they want to take early credits, or if they want to take it in the summer, or maybe just start in the fall. I think having an info session is beneficial to have a better understanding of what the program is. Sometimes I have students coming in that may think that it's just taking a class, but may not understand that you're starting your your college GPA, which is really important. Also, what classes I would recommend. That's why we do request high school transcripts, so we can look at the classes and see, in what areas we would recommend to maybe start a class instead of taking 3 classes, maybe 1. So that's what I would recommend, to meet with us, to have a discussion.
Okay, great. And there's some other comments going in the chat that might be useful. But getting to the next question, Joy is asking, did there used to be a discount for dual enrollment? I was under the impression there was, but see, that's no longer the case. And maybe you want to clarify, because isn't dual enrollment, is that what it's called when you're enrolled in the public high school and do college RBCC classes on campus? Am I getting those terms right? Dual enrollment?
Some people do use the names interchangeably. For RVCC, concurrent enrollment is what we categorize students that are in high school, in public or private high
Okay,
school,
so
and taking the
concurrent.
courses at the high school. For
Okay.
Anna's team, we call them the early credits, early college, sometimes jumpstart students, if you're taking it at the Branchburg campus.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. So, as far as Joy is asking about discount.
As far as tuition, we charge them just as a regular student. It's what Anna mentioned with the in-county and out-of-county state. We no longer have any fees for application though, which is great.
And that applies to both early college and concurrent. So same price for homeschool kids doing early college as well as concurrent kids in a public high school?
Concurrent enrollment students do have a set price since that is with a with high school. So I believe for them it's $220 per course for the semester. And then for early college, that depends on how many courses you take, obviously, and then how many credits that course is.
Okay, great. Thanks. So no other questions in the chat, but if anyone wants to pop up with questions, or if there's anything else, Peaches or Anna, that you guys had sort of on your checklist to make sure we understood some of the finer points, or
Sure. I mean,
anything
I
that comes to
can,
mind.
yeah, I mean, I love that question about the tips for the parents, because they are going to be with them throughout the whole process. I highly suggest looking through early credits FAQ page. That has the deadline that Anna was mentioning. It's very important that we get through the process before the deadline so that you're not going to be overwhelmed with class registration. The earlier, the better, as Anna mentioned. And she also mentioned if you're interested in the fall semester, we typically have registration starting April. For spring, correct me if I'm wrong, Anna, I believe it's in November. So
The first week of November. Mhm.
1st of November. Yeah, so that's just give you a quick timeline, at least just to get your, mindset in the game that you will need to provide us with the application, get that process, take the placement if you have to, if you don't have any other placement in place. So typically April for fall semester and then November for the spring semester. Oh, you're muted, Mary Beth.
Myself. Question regarding those the enrollment dates. Are they ever listed anywhere on the website? Because I've looked before and was wondering where should I need to find the exact date in the future.
Sure. I'm gonna share my screen to show. Wait, first I'm gonna try to find the website. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen. 1 moment. I can't share my screen anymore.
Let me,
Can't?
let me
I should be able to.
make you co-host.
That'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Right. So on the website, you're just gonna scroll all the way down where it has the questions, and there's one that says how do I apply? What is the deadline? We have our deadlines right here.
Okay,
for
great.
each- Mhm.
All right, and that is specifically where you guided us to before. That's under the early college programs and credits. Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem.
Allison is asking, do early college students ever reach out to a professor to learn more about the class before deciding to take it?
Yes, a lot of times they do, to reach out. So it's not an issue on that. Sometimes, also for permission for a certain class, maybe if a class was full and they just wanted to see if they can put them in the class, they do. I've had early credit students meet with professors, before.
And just so that everybody knows as well, if you look at the course schedule, that actually gives you not just the time, location, and the start session, the start date, but it also gives you the professor's contact info. So yes, students can definitely reach out if they have any specific questions, for any other general information. They can always reach out to admissions and advising us.
I have a question. Can you talk a little bit about credit for college, credit for high school, or like kind of if someone as an early college, high school homeschooler, let's just say, takes a course or two, how they can use those credits?
I'm not too sure on that one, because usually students from high schools they tell me that they have certain specific classes that they need to take. And that if we have them, and we do, and they meet with their high school counselor regarding it to make sure that they're meeting the credit limit as well as the required courses. But it's not something that we're really involved in.
Okay.
I could say a little something though. My experience has been, so I've worked with kids who have taken early college, or it's often a different name in a different community college, right? So like you just have to find out, but it's under this dual enrollment umbrella, right? And you have to figure out how the particular community college in your area works. Anyway, so they take community college classes. And those definitely count, they can count them for high school credit. So they can, so for homeschoolers, you could put them on your transcript for homeschooling. And when you apply to college, you want to look and see at what their, when I say apply to college, apply to a four-year college. So if you've taken community college classes and they're on your high school transcript, when you apply to college, before you send them your transcript, you can ask them what's their policy for whether some of them look at it as double dipping. And it is called dual enrollment, and it's supposed to count for both places, but there are some colleges, not a lot, who would prefer that it not count for college credit as well as high school credit. So in other words, if you took like the first year of foreign language or something at community college, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to give you credit for this. You might get placement for it, sure, but the college might not give you credit for it, even though they say that you can transfer community college credits. It gets confusing right there, right? So I'm like you could see it gets confusing, and what you want to do is be in touch with that four-year college and just make sure that you understand what their requirements are. I remember USC, Southern California, being particularly sticky about a kid who was applying there, and what they didn't want them double dipping, right? So either the course would be on the high school transcript, or it was going to be something that they were going to try and transfer to the college. So, and they're going to be very,
but the majority of colleges you can.
Yeah, majority, it seems fine.
That's right.
And certainly in New Jersey, I think it's really strongly, there's the articulation agreement. So you can look at the class that you take at community college. So you can put in what community college you have and what four-year college you want to go to, and you can see how they map. So you could say, all right, this class at RVCC maps to this class at Rutgers or Rowan or Stockton or wherever, so you can really see how they map out. And so you can make a plan for yourself. Really nice.
I'm actually just gonna put that in the chat, Allison. We use njtransfer.org to find that out. So you can also look through the page as well.
Yeah, and you're not a transfer student when you're going into four-year as a freshman, but if you've taken early college, you're going to be transferring those.
Ooh, you muted yourself, Allison, right? On purpose? Okay. And so I just wanted to take a little pause here. We still have time for questions. But I also did want to see if, we as Raritan Learning Cooperative are hosting this because we work with middle school and high school age homeschool students, ones that have been homeschooling long term, or students that have come out of traditional private or public schools. And so if anyone has any questions about that and what we do, we would be very happy to talk to you a little bit about that. And we're also affiliated with a network of centers really kind of around the world. We have 3 within our actual organization. We are hosting out of our center in Flemington, but we have a center in Princeton rather, and one in Langhorne, PA, in Lower Bucks County. But then we're also affiliated with a network that's around the world, actually, and happy to give any information about that. I also wanted to share an event we have coming up on June 4th, which is next Tuesday night. It's an in-person event, and it's called New Jersey Homeschool Basics. And it's being hosted by, co-hosted by our Princeton Learning Cooperative, our center in Princeton that I just mentioned, and the Hopewell branch of Mercer County Library. And so that's where it's going to be located, at the Hopewell branch of the library. And it'll just be a conversation about, learning the ins and outs, the basics of being a homeschool family in New Jersey and how things work. So is someone putting that information in the chat, or I can do that? Someone just did. Allison, thanks. Okay, awesome. And if anyone, I think Anna and Peaches put their contact information in the chat. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do that too. Right now, but if anyone is looking to find, oh, actually, I have the information right here for our 3 centers and actual contact people at those centers. So I'm going to put that in the chat as well. There you go. Scott's our contact person for, general inquiries about membership. And then there's a contact for each of the other centers. So I will stop talking and see if anyone has any questions. I think Nate had a question that Allison responded to. And
I'll just echo something that Corinne had written in the chat earlier. Maybe we touched on it a little bit, but just in thinking about high schoolers taking a college class, one thing parents can consider is to encourage your child to take a class that they'd really, really like.
Yeah.
Whatever is their, maybe it's their best subject, the thing that they really excel at to begin with. The goal is to have them be as successful as possible initially. And sure, they might be interested in taking some challenge class, but maybe to start off with just them feeling really good, getting a sense of what a college class looks like, and to feel good about the grade that they get.
Yeah. And I can also say navigating the whole thing. So like navigating the online system, navigating the college, navigating all the other students, how it works, how you work with the professor, that there's so much there to learn in that first class. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, anything, wait, one more thing. Good comment. Also, Corrine, take a tour of a college before registering.
Yeah, actually, Mary Beth, if you don't mind, I'm going to be plugging it in the chat, our events page. So we do offer in-person events as well. So thanks, Corinne, for bringing that up. If you do want to take the tour of the college, or get the general information about admissions, do your application in person, we are more than happy to do that. Currently, our events page is getting updated, but you should soon see the July open house that we will be having. It's July 18th from 4 to 6 p.m. That's a Thursday, for those of you interested.
Awesome. Cool. Any other thoughts or questions? Okay, great. Well, it seems like if we've shared what we have to share and addressed all the questions that our participants have, then I'll just say thank you to Peaches and thank you to Anna for joining us and giving us, because I've gotten value out of it too, like in just walking through the registration process on the website, or the links to the registration specifics on the website. It's great. And thanks for all our participants who spent some time and asked good questions, and I hope you found it was valuable. And the recording will be available, and we can send that out to people who participated and registered. Not sure exactly what our plan is to do that, but we'll, for sure, if you want a recording, let us know. All right. Thanks all and have a great night.